Hello, class. Hope you're doing well. Today we're talking about what happens when you have a right triangle, and within the right triangle, you draw this line. Now, this line has a special name. It's called an altitude. So what happens when you draw an altitude inside of a right triangle? Well, something really cool happens. What happens is it makes two other triangles, right? This triangle and this triangle. And these two triangles are both going to be similar to the mother triangle. The mother triangle is the one that created it all. So there's the purple one. And let's actually draw these out so we can kind of think about this. We got the big purple one, and this has letters A, B, C. And now we've got the blue one inside it. The blue one looks like this. There's the 90 there. This is A, D, B, and now you got this little red one. Little red one is here, and this is B, D, C. So you got these three triangles. Now, how can you prove that they are similar to each other? Well, let's just look for a second at the big triangle. So let me erase this for a second. And for the big triangle, let's color this in purple, and let's talk about these angles. So let's call this angle on the top, let's call this little a. And let's put the little a right here. So we got little a. Now remember, this is a 90. And let's call this angle in the corner little b. Okay, now we know that little a plus little b plus the 90-degree angle adds up to 180. And if we subtract 90 from both sides, we find that little a plus little b is equal to 90. Okay, so a and b add up to 90. Now let's take a look here at this blue triangle. And the blue triangle, remember this little a here also goes here. So we've got little a here. So now we've got little a plus 90. And let's call this one just x for a second. Plus x adds up to 180. So if we subtract 90 from both sides, then we have a plus x equals 90. We'll take a look at this equation and this equation. A plus b adds up to 90. A plus x adds up to 90. That means that using a little substitution, we can set these equal to each other. A plus x equals a plus b. Subtracting a's from both sides, x is equal to b. So let's go in and draw that in there now. This angle right here is b. So we know purple triangle is similar to blue triangle because this is a and b, and this has a and b. All right, what about this triangle right here? Well, this triangle in purple, we've got little angle b, and this is 90. And for the same reason, this has to be a, because a plus b add up to 90. So we have ab 90 here, ab 90 there. So all three triangles are similar. So because of that, we can do some nifty stuff. Let's take a look at what we can do. So we've got this example here, and here it says line segment PD is 2. So I'm going to write a 2 here. Line segment DQ is 8, and we have to solve for x. So it seems like we don't have enough information. It seems kind of impossible. But if we start deconstructing this and moving these triangles around, then it's going to work. So I'm going to color a little triangle here in red. And I'm going to get that triangle, and I'm just going to bring it down here. Almost in the same position, but I'm going to straighten it out a little bit. So this angle here, that's my right angle. Okay, so I just rotated it a little bit like that, just a tiny bit. So this is 2, and this is x. Okay, now let's color this triangle here in blue. So I'm going to rotate this triangle this way so that the Q is on the top of the, or actually, no, I'm going to rotate it, take that back. Let's rotate it this way so the Q is on the bottom. So this letter Q is on the bottom. So if we do that, then, what did I do? Try it again. If we do that, then here we've got that letter Q on the bottom. This is 8. And for this triangle, for the blue triangle, the short side is x. So for the blue triangle, the short side is x, and the long side is 8. Now for the red triangle, it's the opposite. The short side is 2, and the long side is x. So once you have them rotated and put in position like this, then you can compare these. And we're going to do our cross multiplication. So let's get our equation set up. We're going to say 2 on top, x on bottom. So 2 over x. And on this side, x is on top and 8 is on bottom. So short side over long side for the red triangle, short side is 2, long side is x, is equal to short side over long side for blue triangle. Short side for blue is x, long side is 8. And now we cross multiply. 2 times 8 is 16. And what do we do with x and x? X and x is going to be x squared. You're going to be tempted when you see x times x to write 2x, but that's not right. It is going to be x squared. If you had x plus x, that would be 2x. But x times x is x squared. So here, x times x squared. So I got x squared equals 16. Let's take the square root of both sides, and x is equal to 4. And if we plug 4 in here, does that make sense? Let's just write the number 4. And yeah, it makes sense because 8 divided by 2 is 4. And if we put a 4 in here, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 2 is to 4, as 4 is to 8. It's a 1 to 2 ratio. Okay, so that's the idea. You just have to get the triangles and rotate them. That's the hardest part, is thinking of how to get these triangles and move them around and rotate them. But once you do it, you get the answer. Sometimes you may have to use the Pythagorean theorem to get a missing side. So let's give this one a try here. AB is 8 units long. So AB is 8. BD is 3. And we're trying to find x, which is the distance from C to B. So from C to B, all the way from there to there is x. Okay, so let's start getting these triangles and drawing them out. So this triangle here, we're going to draw this little triangle in red. And I'm going to rotate it a little bit that way. All right, so if I rotate it a little bit this way, I'm going to straighten this side and make that side vertical, and I get this kind of thing going on. The hypotenuse is 8, and the shorter side of that is 3. Here's my right angle. Okay, and now I've got the big triangle. The big triangle is here in blue. Now this triangle, I'm going to rotate it a bunch and to put that C on top. So if I do that, if I put the letter C on top, then I end up with something that looks like this. This is going to be, okay, so this is the letter C. The C now goes on top, so the C is here. Okay, then the A got rotated there, and then the B is there. And A is my right angle, A is my right angle. Okay, now I'm gonna, and this is from A to B, this is 8, so I'm gonna put 8 here. Now just to make it match up with this triangle, I'm gonna flip it around like this. So I am reflecting it, and now this is 8. And now this distance from C to B, that is my x, and so this is my x. Okay, so it took a little rotation, but we got it, and now we can set up our ratios. We can say 8 is to 3 as x is to 8. Cross multiply, we got 64 equals 3x, and now we divide both sides by 3 to get our answer. X is equal to 64 thirds. Okay, that's it, guys. So go ahead and work through these and send me a message on Canvas if you have any questions.